basically in a class we can have all these variables, constructors and methods. Whatever they are, public or private, whatever they might be returning, void or the point itself,
Right.
whatsoever. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So now for the class, no, Python. Where did my project go? Oh no, it's lost. Okay. Anyways, so we will have another class. Say my point. Okay. Static void main strings arc. In this, so I want to use this class. If I want to use this class, how do I use? I have to declare an object. Okay, like in this format.
Yeah.
I have to declare it like this. Point P equal to new point. Okay, this means
Right.
P is my object. Okay, remaining is all syntax. P is my object. For this
Right.
object, the P will store all the variables that are present in point. Simply we say P has a state, which indirectly means P has all the variables that have been declared in the point. Okay, since P has all the variables, we can use P dot, for example, out dot print P dot X. Okay, we can get it this way, or else we can say P dot print point. This is the method. So since this is the object, this object can use the methods that have been declared inside this
My point class.
inside the above class. Okay, and then I can declare like this: point p2 equal to new point of uh, we have declared another constructor here. It takes integers. Okay, earlier we have used this constructor. Okay, this is the constructor we have used. Now we will use this constructor. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and then we can do p dot x equal to 4, p dot y equal to 7 maybe. Okay, and then we can use this system dot out dot println inside this p dot uh, oh no, so p dot center, and we have to send another point inside this, which is p2. Okay,
Mm.
So an object can refer its methods. What happened? A class my point is public. It's layer. Okay. Since this is test environment, we are not creating any files here, right? So
Mm-hmm.
we cannot use the keyword public class. If you're using public class, we have to create it in a different file, which we cannot do in this test environment. But if you're doing in a Eclipse or something, you can create two class files. One class file is for this one point. The other class file is for my point. Okay, there will be two public classes, and before this we will write import point. Okay, if you are splitting them, we will write that statement because two are different files and you want to import it before using it. Okay,
Okay.
so p2.x, sorry, .x dot y. Okay, here I said print p dot x, and every point has x coordinates and y coordinates, right? In a
Mm-hmm.
two-dimensional plane. So we have taken x coordinate and y coordinate saying integers, two integers. Okay, so system dot out dot println p dot x, which means my point dot means reference. So get the value of x with reference to p. Okay, for p we have used point. This
Mm-hmm.
function. Okay, what does this function do here? It will set 0 comma 0. This means its own self. It will set to itself. It will
Mm-hmm.
refer it refers to its own class. Okay, and
So 0 x y 0 0.
yeah, it will make x 0 and y 0, and indirectly this of 0 0 is calling point x comma y. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
this refers to the name of the class. So if you give this of 0 0, it is equivalent to us using point of 0 0. Both are the same. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Alright. So now, since this is an object, p dot center. So this is the center, and this is returning a point. Basically, it is returning an object of the type of the class point. Point class object. It is returning a point class object. So point class object will be referred like this. Some dummy variable will come, not the same
Mm-hmm.
all the time, but if you try to print an object, something dummy will come. For example, you have this. Okay, you want to print what is p. Okay, p is an object, so even that will be printed in some code. See, something.
Mm.
It keeps changing. It will not be constant anyways, the code. Okay, this actually refers to the memory location in your RAM. Okay, so you don't bother about your memory location, right? So
Yeah.
p at the rate so and so. This is the object. Object will be printed like this, and if you try to refer any of its state variables, like P is having state variables of x and y. So it will call P dot x as 0. Then if you try to call this function P dot print point, okay, what is P storing? P is storing 0, 0 as of now because we used this function. Like line number 5, we use this because since it is storing 0, 0. Okay, so in print point, what is there? It is trying to print parenthesis x, comma, y, and parenthesis. Since the value of x is 0 and the value of y is 0, it is printing parenthesis 0, comma 0, comma parenthesis. Right?
Yeah.
Alright, so then this center is trying to return an object of the class point. So, right. Okay, for example, I will write like this. Since it is returning something, this has something to return, we will have to store it in one variable, like we discussed yesterday. If we want to work with it, we'll have to store it in some other variable. Here I'm storing it in C and I'm then trying to print C. But C is the object of type point. So again an object got printed here. Then if I try to print, this is nothing but C. This whole thing is C, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I can do C dot X. Okay, because I'm using something repeatedly, I was printing C here, C here, C here. So instead of writing the entire thing multiple times, I can assign it to a small variable which decreases my effort. Okay, so I write C dot X, C dot Y, it will print 2 and 4 because I have
Mm.
4 and 7. X is 4, Y is 7. So the formula is 4 plus 1 is 5. 5 divided by 2 will be 2 because it is integers. It is not a float,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And then 7 plus 2 is 9. 9 by 2 is 4.5, but it will give only 4. So 2 comma 4 was 2 and 4 was printed. Okay,
Mm.
here I can do C dot print point. I can do this because C is still an object of the class point. If I do this, then it will print in this format because that is what is mentioned in the function. Okay, so if you want to work with classes, you will have to declare objects of the classes. Okay,
Yeah.
these are the primitive data types: integer, double,
Mm-hmm.
character, and all. So for these primitive data types, the declaration is quite simple and the usage is also simple. But
Mm-hmm.
these are classes are indirectly advanced data types. Like for example, you want to store all your details, personal details, like your name, your age, date of birth, your passport number, your visa details, everything you want to store in one entity, in one single entity. Okay, if we write in a notebook, we write in a single page. Okay, but in Java we don't have pages. So we simply define a class and we will store in it. Okay,
Mm.
we declare an object and then store it. Alright.
Okay.
Yeah, so as we seen public and private, we'll discuss in further sections anyways, that will be coming. And here in this, we did not make the methods as public. We left them empty. They do not have anything. private or public. By default, they are
Yeah.
private. By default, they are private. Okay. But since this class and my main class are in the same file, they are able to access it. But usually, if it is not public method, you won't be able to access. Okay. So
Mm.
for constructors, you will have to put public, right?
Okay.
And if there are methods like this, you can do whatever you want. Like put them public, put them private, you can do anything. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Then, okay. Okay. In the main method, we are using something called string arguments, right?
Yeah.
Which means we can send arguments here also, right? We are sending
Yeah.
arguments to various other methods, simple methods that we wrote, constructors that we wrote. We have been sending arguments to them. So here also we can send arguments. Okay. So
You're saying
if
using string?
sorry,
You're saying send arguments using string?
yes, this arguments, whatever we are going to send, the arguments, they will be stored in an array in the form, each will be a string. You send 10 arguments, even if they are integers, they will be stored in the form of strings only. Like in the inside double quotes, they will be stored. Okay.
Mm.
But
Okay.
if you want to send arguments to this one, okay, you cannot simply run here. If you run here, it will not work. Like if you do a simple run, it will not work. You will have to call the arguments using command line. Okay. And for example, I open the run windows, windows, run. In this, I give cmd, opens my command prompt. Then
Mm-hmm.
let me see if I have Java active. Yeah, it is active. So I wrote a Java file with all these details. Okay. For example, I put this into a notepad and then save it on my desktop as a.java. Sorry, it can't be a, it has to be arguments. Right? You remember this? That the class name and file name should be same?
Alright.
Yeah. So I saved it as arguments.java. Now in the command prompt, I will say java c, which means compile, and then this is my file. I go to properties, then I copy the path, okay, and then put a double quotes, paste it, slash arguments. If you type tab, it will automatically get the file name. Okay, you have to type a tab in your keyboard.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Type something and it will auto finish. Okay, then I will say Java C. There's some problem with my machine, it's not compiling. Then I will say Java space. I want to give arguments here, right? So I will say
Yeah.
uh, first argument is Anusha. The second argument is Wazir. The third argument is Ubaid, something like this. Okay, but you should not be giving Java here. You should simply give arguments. Okay,
Okay.
you should not be giving Java. See, Java C arguments dot Java, then Java arguments and whatever you want to give here. So if you run this in this command prompt itself, here only it will print one by one, because we are looping through each and every argument inside the arguments array. For every arguments we are trying to print them, right? So for all the arguments it will simply print in the console itself. Okay, this console system.out.println should actually print to the console, right? Even in the Eclipse it prints to something called console. Here is my console,
Mm.
right? So in if you're running it here, console is nothing but what you see here in the command prompt. That itself will be your console. So if you do system.out.println, the print statements, the printed output will be displayed right under the command, whatever you're doing, right under that it will be displayed. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So if you want to send some arguments to any Java main file, okay, to a main file, if you want to send arguments, if you want to send arguments to any other method, it's fine, because you'll call those methods in some other main programs. Okay, but if you want to send arguments to the main program itself, you'll have to send it from here. Okay, it's from command line. From this command prompt, you'll have to send the arguments. You cannot send it from Eclipse or something. You'll have to send it from here. All right. And then comes inheritance. We have already discussed this. Guess you presented.
Yeah.
All right. Then sometimes when you run a program, it will throw some sort of exception here. Okay. If something is not working, if something is wrong, like this, it will throw an exception. For example, here my array is of size 10, but I'm trying to print 9001 as index. My maximum index itself is 9 here. Okay, but if I try to print something wrong here, it will throw me array index out of bound exception. Okay, this will be your exception. What if someone asks what is the exception you are getting? You'll have to say this one, array out of bound exception. This will be your exception. You don't have to say all these details. You can simply say array out of index. Okay,
Mm.
so this is your exception. In this case, uh, okay, I'll put this inside a try and wait, where is this? Catch exception, sorry, catch array out of bound exception space. I will name it as exception. Okay, I think this is okay, fine. Then I will say system dot out dot println. Okay, I have seen an exception, because this is not readable for someone who does not know Java. Okay, so to make it easily readable to someone, or to perform an action in case an exception occurs. Okay, for example, if an exception has come, I want to print that out, not println the length. If in case I want to print something else in case of an exception, I'll do this. So when trying this, there is an exception. Okay.
So so is it gonna print the 9001?
No. Why, what's happening? Oh, fuck. Sorry. I've put the wrong brackets. It should be flower brackets. So first it will try this, and if it gets array index out of bound exception, in that case only it will do this job. In case if it is getting some other exception like this is not array out of bound exception, this is something else. Okay, this is something else, right? CSTM that does not exist. In that case it will not work. Only if the exception that is occurring here is being caught here, then only this actions will be repeated. See, here I will get array out of bound exception, then only this thing will be printed. I want to print array length is 10. I have seen an exception. Okay, or else can say you have used an index for the array and the index is too much, right?
So exception is just used to let the non-coder know that he is going out of bound or something?
Yeah,
So what's
50%. 50% yes. You will catch the exception and convert it into something simple and understandable. This is one scenario. The other scenario is, for example, you're copying a big Excel file. Okay, you're working with a big Excel file. Okay, you want to take the data from the Excel file, or maybe you have a database. You want to connect to the database and get some numbers out of it. Okay, but the database is invalid or it's not working now. So you will try to connect to that database, and in case I get an exception, then I will connect to some other database. Okay, I have two databases. I don't know which one is the working one. I will try the first one. Okay, if something occurs, like there is one exception, DB connection error exception will come. Okay, if I get DB connection error exception, I will connect to another database. Okay, you wanna do something when an exception comes. In that case, you will use a try catch. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, and then you might be having after try catch, you can write something called finally. Okay, which means if something inside try has been executed successfully without an exception, it will come out here and do whatever is written in this finally block. Okay. Then
Okay.
some error came up here, and I have caught the error and executed these lines. When then also the finally will be executed. So irrespective of if this code is executed or this code is executed, finally this should be executed at any cost. Okay.
Okay.
So this try catch is actually a try catch finally, you can have multiple catch statements. For example, here I only get array index out of bound exception. Okay, then there might be something else. There might be something else and some other exception will occur. So I can write catch, uh, for example, null pointer exception. This is one other type of exception that occur in Java frequently. In this case, I want to do something else, blah blah blah. Okay,
Mm.
I can use multiple catch statements. Okay, but it should not. But one catch statement should not be inside the other. Okay,
Mm.
try, then catch one, then catch two, and then you can have finally. Okay,
Okay.
in this case, I can have one more try, catch, like this. Okay, inside a try, I can have one more try catch. Okay, inside a
Mm.
catch, this is inside try, right? Inside a catch also I can have one more try catch, and inside finally also I can have try catch.
Mm.
Right, you can have multiple this one nested. You can have nested statements that those are not going to harm anything, but try should be accompanied by catch. At least one catch should be there. Okay,
Okay.
and sometimes you want to do a thing when whatever exception occurs. In that case, for example, you want to catch any exception. Okay, or not only null pointer exception, whatever exception might come, you want to capture that. Okay, in that case, you can see like try catch for any exception. See, how can I catch all the exceptions that will be thrown? So
Mm.
you can simply write catch exception and whatever it is, your variable name.
Mm.
E is your variable name. Okay, in our program, I have written as exception. You can keep it E, you can give it X, you can give it anything. Okay, so if you want to catch all the exceptions irrespective of what it is, you can simply say exception and the name of the exception. Example EX. Okay, and
Mm.
EX is also a variable. So now you can out dot println EX. You can print it like this as well. Okay, if you want to see the exception, you can print the exception and see, but usually we don't print it. We may print it, we may not print it, but we will have another task to perform inside an exception, sorry, inside a catch statement. Okay,
Mhm.
so that is about try catch and finally try catch finally. Right, abstraction, you have already seen it.
Yeah.
Yeah, interface, I've already seen it. And using generics, that's okay. It's nothing about generics collect. What happened? Where did the information go? Yeah, so interfaces and all we have already seen. Okay, and then Ivo streams is there? No, it's not there. Not a problem.
Is it okay if we end the class here today?
No problem. We can do that.
Yeah, today is Friday, so
Yeah. All right.
yeah, I'm gonna go. Just let me know when you post the video so I can go over it again.
Sorry.
I said just let me know when you upload the video so I could write everything down.
Yeah, I'll do it. Wait. Here, catch it.
Okay. See you tomorrow.
Yeah.